All right, crew, so we are looking at how to solve by factoring. This is the second day that we've tried this. I'm not going to introduce any new information in this video. It's just going to be a reminder of what we learned last class. So we talked about solving by factoring, and just as a reminder, your steps, and go ahead and set up your notes like this. Your steps, whenever you're trying to solve a problem like this. The first thing that you should always do is make sure the equation is set equal to 0. The second step is to unbox, which is called factoring. And then your third step is to zero out the parentheses. So go ahead, pause the video, make sure your screen is set up. All right, and we're actually going to solve that problem that we just explored on the last page. So I notice that this equation is not set equal to 0. So how would I change it so it's set equal to 0? I'll subtract 8 on both sides. Now I can't subtract 8 from the 3 or the 2 because they both have x's. So I'm just going to have the 8 chilling at the end. So I'll rewrite this as 3x squared minus 2x minus 8 equal to 0. That gives us our first check mark. We're good to go ahead and start unboxing. So with unboxing, I'll go and set it up. Remember, first term, first box. Last term, last box. We'll multiply those two numbers out to the side. 3 times negative 8 is negative 24. So I'll start thinking about numbers that times out to negative 24. Not going to worry about the negative yet. I'm just going to work out the 24. So that's 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. Now I'm going to need to make one of these numbers negative because I know a negative times a positive would make that negative. I also see that I need to add up to a negative 2. So that means the bigger number is going to follow this sign. So I'll make the bigger number negative. Which one of these adds up to negative 2? Well, it looks like these two do. 4 plus negative 6 is negative 2. So I'll plug those numbers in the boxes. Don't forget the x's. And now I can think about my outside numbers. I see that in this row, I have 3 and 4 stacked up together. All right, so 3 and 4 stacked up. So what number nicely divides both 3 and 4? Well, that's 1. So I'm going to put a 1 out here. Also, they both have x's, so I'll put an x with it. Now I continue with the rest. What number would I multiply 1x by to get 3x squared? Well, that'd be 3x. What times 1x gives me 4x? That's 4. What times 3x would give me negative 6x? Negative 2. And just to check, 4 times negative 2, yep, that is negative 8. So now I'm going to rewrite this. And on the left-hand side, instead of the long 3 terms, I'm going to write it out with the parentheses. So that's x minus 2 and 3x plus 4. That's still equal to 0, because just think about the left side being rearranged to look different. Now that I have it rewritten, I can find out what I could plug in for x to make my parentheses 0 out. So this first one is going to be actually pretty quick. What number minus 2 would make 0? Well, 2. So one possible answer for x is 2. Now the second one is more messy. I don't know it right off the top of my head. Some of you all might, but most people probably don't see it right away. So I'm trying to make the parentheses zero out. That means I want to make it equal to 0. So how do I get rid of the plus 4? Well, I get rid of plus 4 by saying minus 4 to both sides. Now I have 3x equal to negative 4. I can divide both sides by 3. And I'll get negative 1.3 repeating. I get that by putting this continue bar on top. Remember, the way you change a fraction into a decimal is by doing top divide by bottom. So your final answer for this problem is x equals 2 and x equals negative 1.3 repeating. Circle it and done. Now that you've finished up with this, you are going to move on to the Google form. You can find the Google form on our classroom. You will be required to show work with this Google form, so make sure you have out a piece of paper that you can turn in to Ms. Smith.